Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have the WE Knives Banter. This is designed by Ben Peterson. If you don't know who Ben Peterson is and you're watching this video, I'm really kind of surprised. You may know him better as Ben of Blade HQ. He was the creator and star of the Knife Banter videos on Blade HQ for a very, very long time. Great guy. Proud to call him my friend, so get that little bias out of the way. I like Ben a lot. He did leave Blade HQ recently, not solely to start making his own designs, but partly to do that. He said that in a live stream. He admitted that was part of the reason. And he went to WE to have them design his perfect EDC knife. And I got to tell you, spoiler alert, he did a really good job. If you're just looking for an actual EDC knife, he's handled thousands of knives, and that collective knowledge all went into this. And I kind of sympathize with that because I did a little video a while ago where I drew my own knife, and I don't know crap about designing knives, but I've held so many that you do kind of start to feel like maybe I could design my own. Maybe this is what I would want. And this is kind of what this is an amalgam of all the things he likes about a really good EDC knife put into one from a very, very experienced guy. If you still don't know who he is, you may know who he is by his logo. WIUG. He used to open up every Knife Banter video with "What is up, guys?" It's that guy. So sorry for the bad impression. You got to do it. I think every reviewer who's going to review this thing is going to do that voice. But yeah, just an iconic character in the knife world over the last several years, and it's really cool to see him branching out and do his own thing. And I'm all for it. This knife costs make sure I have it right, $108. Yeah, $108.80. You're looking at S35 VN steel liner lock G10, as obviously made by WE. It's kind of cool to see a WE liner lock because the actual WE line knives are usually frame locks, but obviously they know how to do a liner lock because that's what all the Civivis are, and the Civivi liner locks we all know are amazing in the action. This is no exception. So they clearly know what they're doing with this. Pretty good quality, I think, for $108.80. S35 VN, all nice T8 screws, really nice G10, really nice deep carry clip with recessed screws. Yay! Little Banter logo on it. I think it's a great value. $108.80. I have zero issues with that price whatsoever. And you'll see why as we go on here. It is a fairly small knife. We'll do some specs and size comparisons now. I guess we'll get into that. You have an overall length of 6.5 inches, blade length of 2.9 inches, blade thickness very, very thin at just 0.10 inches. Handle thickness also pretty thin at 0.47 inches, or 0.45 inches, sorry, and a weight of 2.6 ounces according to my scale. So it's well under that ounce an inch. It's not what you would call a super lightweight by modern standards. You would have probably 3-4 years ago, but now it's still really good weight for what it is. Now let's get into some size comparisons. We'll start out with the usual Spyderco sandwich. We have our Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Hopefully people will stop asking everybody else where I got the scales. These are from Sharp Dress Knives, by the way. But it's still all the same dimensions. And the Para 3 represented here by the lightweight. You can see it's significantly smaller than either of those. Next up, we will bring up some Benchmade Griptilians. We have the full size and the mini grip. You can see still just the mini grip. Never wants to stand up. Insolent. Try and line the pivots up here. You can see it's still just even a little bit smaller than the mini grip. Not dramatically so, just a tiny bit smaller than the mini grip. And then we're going to throw in a couple more Benchmades because I think it's kind of appropriate here. Because as I said, this is not a lightweight knife, but it's still, I think a lot of people will be comparison shopping just because of the price range. So we're going to bring the mini bug out. Yes, I did dye this one. It used to be white. It used to be the Stormtrooper edition. And the full-size bug out. So you're looking at an overall length very similar to the mini bug out, but a much taller blade. A much taller knife than the much wider knife, I guess. It depends on which adjective you want to use, than the mini bug out. And then lastly, we'll bring out some more kind of I'm not gonna say iconic because a lot of them are fairly new, but still like really cool 3-inch knives that I like a lot. So we have the Spyderco Sage 5. I'm gonna try and fit 4 on here, and the TRM Neutron, and lastly, we have the Hogue Ritter Mini RSK Mark 1-G2. Such a name. But yeah, you can see it's kind of in that size range. It's a little bit smaller than any of these. But it's still definitely, I think, if you're knife shopping, it's 2.9 inches versus 3 inches. And you're getting a whole lot of cutting edge out of this. So I can still see how you'd be sort of comparing those back and forth. Now let's talk about this knife more. S35VN. Great choice. I know if I was designing a knife, that is honestly probably my favorite, just EDC kind of steel. Holds an edge really well, has very good corrosion resistance. Not a bastard to sharpen or anything. It's pretty easy to sharpen. And in usual WE fashion, this is a very tall, flat grind, very thin blade stock. And in usual WE fashion, it's 14 thousandths behind the edge. It's super slicey. It's razor sharp out of the box. I did just buy this. I didn't get an early sample like some people did just because I forgot to ask Ben about it. I'm sure he would have sent me one if I would have asked. But hey, we're buddies, Ben. Why didn't you just send me one? Why did I have to ask? By the time I asked, they were all gone. I don't mind buying one. I don't mind putting a couple bucks in Ben's pocket. It's absolutely fine. So I did order this next day from Blade HQ. So I did get it pretty quickly. But so I've had it for a couple of days. And man, just like your usual EDC test. I'm going to keep saying EDC in this all the time, but this is that's how this knife should be judged. It's not judged to be, I know Ben's taste. It's not judged to be all around, it's judged to be all around, but not like a beater. It's not judged to be, a tough knife. It's tough enough, but it's just judged to be a good EDC. Put it in your pocket, forget it. It's going to be useful. That's what it's designed for. And it works. This blade just works great as that. Just a really simple drop point, very thin behind the edge, super slicey. S35VN. WE does a great job with that steel and their heat treat. I know it's going to be good. It just works excellently as just a regular old EDC knife, just kind of in your pocket. I don't often bring up, but a lot of you guys do know I also work for Knives Illustrated. We have an issue coming out in the special issue we do every year out in the fall for EDC. I'm writing an article called like Urban EDC. And this knife is going to be in that because this is a great urban EDC knife. 2.9 inches. It's not going to be illegal in a lot of places. It's going to be legal in most places. And it's just a great EDC knife for that kind of person. I basically work in a home office, and it's an awesome EDC blade for me. It's great opening packages, opening, dog food things, opening whatever you got to do. It's great for that. But it's robust enough that you can still do some stuff with it. Like, look at the tip. Tip ain't bad at all. That is not a little tiny, thin, dainty little tip you're going to worry about breaking off. Not a bit. It's just an excellent, simple drop point blade shape. And I really, really do enjoy using it. So definitely huge thumbs up on the blade. Awesome job there. Ergonomics also pretty darn good. You got just a little bit of jimping up here, which it's a small amount, but it's fairly aggressive, so it does work pretty well. The G10 is a really good mix of being grippy without being overly grippy. We usually nails that in Civivi. It feels kind of like Civivi G10. I can feel the pocket clip. If I have one little gripe with this, I can feel the pocket clip. I would not even go remotely close to calling it a hot spot, but yeah, I can kind of feel it in the back here. If you see where my hand lies, I have large size hands, pretty skinny fingers, but normal human size palms. And yeah, just a little bit there, but not too much. Other than that, ergonomics are excellent. You're really, really locked in. It's really good. Another thing about the ergonomics is when Ben was on Blade HQ, he used to talk all the time about the finger test, which meant that he liked to have his finger reach really close to the tip. And it's for the most adorable reason. It's because he used to do little art projects with his kids, and he likes to be able to, use a knife like this. Yep, it passes the finger test, especially with my long fingers. I can almost get out past it. And I have used it like that in the last couple of days. It's been in my pocket constantly the last couple of days, and yeah, It's great for detail stuff. Yeah, the ergos are very, very, very well thought out on this, as is the blade. As far as the carry goes, bring out the old Levi's Mark 1. I always say Mark 1 because these are going to get worn out. There's going to be a Mark 2. It's just going to happen. So yes, very deep carry. This is the bright blue version. It does also come in a blacked out version with blue thumb studs. But as you can see, there's nothing you're going to see. It doesn't matter what color the knife is. You can just barely see a tiny little hint of blue up top there. And all it says on the pocket clip is Banter. I like that. I don't mind people putting branding on the pocket clip. It doesn't scream like knife. It just says Banter on it. Then nobody's going to think twice about what that is. And yeah, easy to get your hand past. It's a joy to carry. The weight is fine, 2.61 ounces. Is it a bug out? No, it's not as light as that, but it ain't far from it. I mean, we're getting down now into lightweight knives, and it's such a tiny amount. Like, everything is under 3 ounces. Like, the last time I did one of those best lightweight knives thing, I had to cut the limit down to 2.5 ounces, because if you go under 3 ounces, oh my God, there's everything. You have a ton to choose from. So yeah, it definitely fits in that category. The action. And this is going to sound like an insult because Civivi is technically Wii's budget brand, but yeah, it feels like a Civivi, which is a compliment because Civivi's, their action is usually superb. I happen to have just right in front of me and bring out like a Dogma. You know, it's the same kind of thing. Very smooth, very drop shutty. This feels like a Civivi, which is a compliment, even though this is more expensive than a Civivi. Yeah. Tiniest little wrist, and it drops right shut. I've done nothing to this. I've not taken it apart. I've not done anything to it. It is pretty simple inside. It's just the usual Civivi or Civivi/Wii ceramic ball bearing ceramic D10. And yeah, action on it is just nailed. Just absolutely nailed. You can reverse flick it. All that stuff you want to do. Yeah. Honestly, I was expecting to like this knife. I like it even more. And my wife, not a knife person. She carries an open L if she carries anything at all, and handed this to her. And she said, you know, I might kind of want to, I might want one of these. I might actually want one of these. Her job, she can't carry a knife at all, but like just to have around, she kind of wants one. My son, who is like an Uncle Randy, who carries nothing but bucks and stuff like that. He did have a brief dalliance with a bug out, but he really likes it too. He was like, man, he's lefty. He's like, if it was left-handed, I would totally get one. You know, I think it's a knife that's going to appeal to a whole lot of people because it's just very useful. It's not intimidating. He uses that word in his own marketing stuff. It's not intimidating. It's just a very, very handy, cool EDC knife, and that's why I'm putting it like in that urban EDC article, because if you're in an urban environment, you don't want to have a big scary knife, and this is great for that. Just very well done, Ben. I really like it. I'm not saying it just because you're my buddy, but yeah, this is a really cool knife. I'm very excited about it. I will say, yes, if you're watching this and thinking it was a Blade HQ exclusive, it isn't. They did sell out of Blade HQ very, very quickly. Blade HQ got them first, but they are going to be available at your quote-unquote favorite retailer everywhere in the next week or so. So keep looking for them. Again, the initial launch is just this blue with the stonewash blade, or a completely blacked out, black wash blade, black handles with a blue thumb stud. But yeah, they're going to be coming out. I'm sure there will be more. I think this thing is going to be super popular. If Wii doesn't make more versions of this, they're idiots. It's just a really, really cool knife. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.